Alright, what's up? I'm gonna make a correction. I think I said that the age of an Anunnaki is probably about 2 to 3 million years. I actually don't have anything that actually backed it up on. I would imagine that they probably lived to be about probably about a million, maybe even some more than that. Somewhere around that range. Because if Enki came in contact with his father, and Enki was already old and gray, but he was still functional though. He wasn't old and gray like he was technically shutting down. He was still given responsibility. You know, his brother or his half-brother, and Leo was still technically in charge of overseeing command. So they both probably were up there in age. Up there in age in terms of their muscular physicality, not necessarily numeric. And you know, if you read the Lost Book of Enki, it goes through the story about how they came to Earth and they realized that either the Earth cycle, because the Earth is closer to the sun and has a faster orbit around the sun, or maybe like some type of matter per square inch density, whatever the catalyst was that caused the reaction of rapid muscle growth. I don't know, I mean, it's gotta be weird when you come in contact with your father, if they're being on like a governmental assignment or whatever that is, to go to an alien planet, and then you're on an alien planet, so already it's kind of weird, and then you eventually see your father after X amount of time, and then your father is still kind of relatively the same looking person as when you left, and then you're like all old and gray, you know. It's magic, you know. It's weird. But it's some type of science where it's I mean, that is if the book is accurate. I mean, if I prove that the Lost Book of Enki is just nothing but bullshit, does that just ruin pretty much all your concepts of life? I mean, well, you still got stuff like this. I mean, anybody who tells you that that's not a helicopter is just totally full of shit. But yeah, I'd probably say it's about right. Probably, yeah, okay, yeah. That's pretty accurate. Friggin', if you prove that the Lost Book of Enki is false, then friggin' that's about right. You know, like I still perceive that as being ultimately what the truth technically is. Not necessarily maybe if it is the truth, because I always have my doubts a little bit about the Lost Book of Enki, but I do feel like I don't know. You know, like, because the aliens are on a high ground, so that they can feed pretty much the whole entire planet. Like, not just like, oh, I fed New Jersey this story. You could feed the whole entire planet, 8 billion of us, whatever story you want. Technically doesn't have to check out what the absolute truth, because nobody lives on the Bureau from us, the Earthlings. So, I mean, like, you can never really check out whether that story is totally accurate. So you're never going to technically be within that current of Nibiru, then, like, pretty much just feed us anything. I would say that Enki was old, and he was old and gray, and he was incredibly old for the age because of the muscle density per square inch of the orbit around the sun. Whatever the catalyst is that caused that reaction. He's seen his father. His father was relatively around the same age, but his father is king. Alright, Enki's a prince on Nibiru. His father, Anu, is king. He doesn't really look like he's going anywhere. The entire course of the Homo sapien race, they were here for 120 something showers, plus the extra about 6,000 years, something like that. So 120 something showers just rounded out to like 300,000 something plus hours. I would just say like 350,000 or something like that. So like that probably times 2 would probably be the lifespan of an Anunnaki, or maybe even put a third one in there just to be safe, you know. So it's between, I don't know, 800,000, 1.5 million, something like that. Just a ridiculous cartoon number. I might have went over this before on earlier documentation, but I don't think there is Pleiadian and Draconian extraterrestrial life. I think we're just stuck with the extraterrestrials that are around our neighborhood, which is the Nibirians. Because I think I went over the example of, you know, they have a summer solstice and a winter solstice, and then when they get to the winter solstice, they're incredibly far away from any type of light. So they're probably very, very far away from any star whatsoever. And their technology, although it is incredibly impressive to us, and it actually is incredibly efficient and impressive and all that, I'm not trying to downgrade the gone technology of their ships, but I still think we have to obey the rules of engagement between it as a physical matter, as a complex equation of physical matter. It's a multiple mile long ship carrying multiple beings, and they have to carry those beings to a destination and then keep their sanity and get there in a time period that doesn't allow their gives them they don't die in the way. There it is. Boom. Alright, so they're probably not going to Orion. Orion is just a navigational point. It's a constellation. It's a place in the sky that they either calculate the shower off of, or they use it as a navigational point within some type of travel or whatever it is. But there's also that thing in the Lost Book of Enki where I just said, whereas they age faster. So that's kind of weird when you read the Lost Book of Enki and you're just like, you age faster? Like, how do you... How do you get to planet Earth and then realize that you age faster? Like, that's kind of weird. That would mean that, I think the main suspect is ultimately the rotation of the planet around the sun, how fast it is. So, like, if a human being lived on Mercury, you'd live to be, like, 30 days old, and then you'd be finished, but I'm not actually sure if that's correct. It could be, like I said, matter per square inch density or something like that. The whole point is you read the Lost Book of Enki, and you get to the point in time where they realize that they age faster, and then you start putting two and two together, and you're like, well, if this book is real, then what you're telling me is that the first alien planet that you technically went to was Earth. That's can't be right. That's weird. Are you telling me that you've only been to planet Earth? I mean, they've probably been to all the planets by now. Like I said on previous documentation, they can't go to Neptune. I'm not sure if they are able to go to Neptune now, because that was about 400,000 years ago or something like that. I'm not sure if they can go there now, but I would doubt it. But you read the book, and you're just like, Earth is the first planet you visited then, because the fact that you aged faster. If you were going to, like, Pleiadia and Orion and Draconia and all that stuff, you would have figured that out a long time. A long time. You're going to places that are so much farther than out of the solar system that it's just ridiculous that I'm not even sure if, based upon this evidence, if you were to perceive this as science classified under the bullshit category, because there's still a chance that it could be bullshit, but if you were to classify that as a science, then that means, like, you have to, to even travel to a place like an Orion or a Pleiadian or anything like that, now you have to factor this aging thing within the so not only is it a scientific intelligence that needs to be derived to be able to travel vast distances, like you need to be able to take your ship and go boom, light speed for a very long duration, all that, and keep the mentality of everyone sane and board, all that. But not only that, but you have to worry about the fact that you're just going to age too quickly before you get there. Like, that's friggin', that sucks. But yeah, so I wanted to clear that up. I don't think that they get to be 3 million years old. I mean, they could, but I still think the safer bet would probably be about, like, like 1 million. Oh my god, did I just say that? Did I just say those friggin' words? My god. To be on the safe side, I would probably put your chips on only 1 million years. Just to be careful, you know, if you don't want to look like a fool, you don't want to look stupid, you know, I would just probably be safe and be like, $1, you know, like Price is Right, you know, old Bob Barker, and $1 in 1 million years. There probably is not Pleiadian and Draconians. I mean, everything could be a lie from Pleiadia and Draconia, but I doubt it. I think everything's from Nibiru. I mean, you got Sumerian tablets pointing in that direction. The Sumerians are pretty much the origin of the majority of the religions of the planet, and responsible for so many friggin' different systems of our intelligence and daily functionality. It's ridiculous. This image right here, I think I already pointed out, but this image is, well, definitely not this image, but, you know, go to Mars, and Mars has the jet and the chopper. So, I'm not sure if both depictions are talking about how they just had jet and chopper technology back then, or if they both connect. I also think that this jet right here might have this wing in the back, this little like dorsal fin, but it's way in the back. It has like these two air horns in here. I'm actually sure I should probably have cut that out. Like, see this face right here? This face is weird because, like, you know, I do cut a lot of the images out of rocks and the net grid and clouds and all this type of stuff all the time, and I never really see this type of face right here. This is kind of like a really amphibian looking like face. It's not really resembling a gray. It's not really resembling anything that I actually usually see. It's kind of just weird that face is that. I mean, I never see that type of face. I mean, here's a gray over here. See the face in there? It's kind of got this snout, nose, eye. There's his ear right there. You know, there's his head. So it really pops off the rock. I'm not even sure if humans made this. I mean, they could have, but, you know, a lot of stuff with the Anunnaki, it's not just one flat. It's never one flat thing with the Anunnaki. They always have a canvas, and then within the canvas, if you get through all the crevices and stuff like that, it's multiple stories, just layers on top of layers on top of layers, depending on what angle you look at different things from. It pours out different images. The problem, actually, though, is that, like, you know, you're knowledgeable about something like the net grid, and net grid is supposedly just burning things into the reality at random. So then when it gets to something like rock, stuff like this, are these chiseled in here, or are these burnt in by the net grid's random burning in there thing? And if that is the case, either one of them, like, the images that are in here, are they specifically put there, or are they random burns? So if you see a face in there, does that face belong to the story that is trying to be told with these rocks? Does it all fit? Is everything where it's supposed to be, or are things there because of a random occurrence? Because, you know, with that idea with the Codex Project, where you're building a vocabulary of repetitive patterns of faces, so you're starting to label, ultimately, and classify what the faces of the aliens that technically are the ones that are out there, that are responsible for all this stuff, the net and the clouds and all this stuff. I mean, that's great, because you're starting to get, you know, fact. I mean, you're knowledgeable about the fact that the aliens, technically, if they wanted to not be observed or studied, I would imagine they probably could go and do things in an invisible manner. But you're also kind of knowledgeable about the complexity and the density and just the surface area of what the net grid concept ultimately consists of. You're talking about images, not just like in a small state, or like the whole state of Iowa is just totally fucked, man. That shit's all over the place. Like, freaking, this is the whole entire planet. This is the depths of the oceans to the top of the clouds. So the amount of images within that are so numerous that, yeah, there could be a prep, you know, that goes into those images, or it could just be the makeup's off, and everything that you see within those graphics is truth. You know what I'm saying? Or there's just so much of a high volume of images on top of images on top of images on top of images on top of images, that how are they going the actual truth is within that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I love using that line, whereas the makeup is off. You know, instead of having time to prepare for a specific delivered angle or whatever it is, there's just such a high volume of information and visual graphics and shit like that within that it's just impossible to actually prep all that shit. So you know, I mean, it's not impossible that they can do something like that. I mean, if you live in the be like a million years and you're kind of being kind with that number, whatever it is, they can pretty much do ultimately whatever they want to. And to be totally honest with you, when they get to when you're starting to talk within terms of like this, I mean, the precession of the equinox is technically a rotation of the 12 highest commanding officers or commanding voices, personalities, beings within their ranks. It's a span of like 20-something thousand years or whatever it is. How did I get off there on that tangent there? Questions that you ask yourself when you look at faces within rocks. Are they there for a purpose? Are they supposed to be there, or are they randomly burnt in there? Like, it's one of the things that I do ask myself. That guy is totally there. See his face there, looks very amphibian looking like, unless that's like a mask. But yeah, sometimes you might see some weird ass creatures and shit like that, and then you kind of like look down a little bit, and then you kind of see another face there. I mean, it's hard because this is really just faces on top of faces on top of faces. You know, one nose can be used for multiple faces and all that stuff. But sometimes when you see some bizarre looking shit that doesn't necessarily belong there, because you've kind of been seeing things for a long time, you kind of look a little bit down under, and then you kind of see like a mask, you know? This ultimately could be a faceplate right here. There's his ear, and then like this would be some type of visor or something. But that's that's actually unclear to myself. Over here is I visualized, or I perceived it as like like a guy crying. Looks to be one of like the kingship strain or the Sumerian lord strain, the big African honeybee humans. Appears to have tears rolling down his eyes. He's crying. Eye, nose, mouth. I flip the image around, and then that same image is this, or that same shape as this thing right here. I think this looks more like a pilot or something. You see all these images hidden in these rocks. You got a gray alien there. You got like a more man-looking gray alien over here. You got like an alien gray alien over here. Got another gray alien over here in these rocks. I think he's kind of like holding on to like a, it's perceived to be like something like a rocket or something like that. So I mean, this is the thing that like you're trying to put the faces you're collecting from here into the story. Like, so these gray aliens, where are they within the ranking system and stuff like that? Like, how you're trying to place all these different characters. Like, what would you think of a name like what would like Ningazita look like? Well, yeah, I mean, if you have a picture of Inky, Ningazita is probably a very large African honeybee, human being, bearded Babylonian man as well. But what I'm saying, like, it's once you start seeing, you're still trying to figure out where do all these faces go technically. But I cut this guy out right here. He's got the You know Flash from DC Comics? He's got kind of like those winged ears or whatever it is. Looks like he's got that. He's got some type of like it's either a protector, some type of side protector, or like a handless microphone, and like a little bit of a visor right here. Right over here is it's like a thoroughbred looking kingship strain, lordship strain, alien life form. See, I mean, you don't think all these faces would be hidden in these rocks, but you know, if you kind of like dig down within these crevices and stuff like that, you start to see all these faces pop out. And it's weird too, because like, you know, I when I was doing nebulas, I call it infinite symmetrical reflections. You know, just a box of infinite symmetrical reflections that I'm just cutting a whole bunch of puddles out of. And it's weird because, you know, you got this detailed artwork where you have this chopper and, you know, the jet, and it's really detailed. It's really on point. And then when you just turn it, I mean, this is a rock. This is not like the digitalness of space where, you know, where you can do that with all different reflections of light and stuff. This is just a rock. I mean, the picture is taking. The camera's taking a picture of the rock, so that the air before it could possibly cut the light angles, I suppose, but I'm not sure how that works. But the whole point is that that could be a reality, but you see the depictions on the rocks, and you're just like, wow, you know, like that's a really good picture. And then like you kind of like flip it, and then like all of a sudden, you know, there's a face over here, there's a nose, a mouth, eye. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I spent enough time on this, I could just cut out nothing but faces. And you're like, how did the faces make the art of the helicopter and the jet scene? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think the font was faces. Jesus, I thought it was just chisel, like hammer and chisel, not face font. It's like built on a foundation of just faces. This is I think this is Wikipedia, but then like I see this alien face. It looks like a paranormal ghost up here in the corner. See him up there? He's like looking at like whoever's looking at all this stuff. So they're like, yeah, you know, this helicopter is just a pile of shit. It's a misprint. Where you got this ghost alien face right here. Jesus, what the hell is that all about? That's weird. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, I guess. So, I guess it is just a bunch of shit. Here's a weird picture though. See this rock right here? There's a it's on Wikia, so like this might not come out clear. My version, especially this bootleg pirate version where I'm just filming it off my computer or whatever. But there's some type of depiction on there of a person. I mean, it looks like an alien human. He's got a very large head. Might have like longer hair in the back. He's got a beard and a mustache, that's for sure. There's his neck coming down. I cut him out, or tried to highlights, but it's certainly a depiction within that. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it right there. Alright, thank you.